Hello everybody, welcome back to my blog. It's been 2 weeks since I posted my last video. I'm really sorry about that, but I had a lot of work to do at the office, and additionally there was not really much to show for in these last 2 weeks, as I've been concentrating on building the ship's artillery. Given the nature of the business of building the artillery for a battleship, there's a lot of repetitive work, so there's not a lot of fun for you. Watch me do 8 150 millimeter guns in a row, because it's the same all over again and again and again, and it's the very nature of building battleship like that. And so within this week there's only a few components that are really finished in diversity, even though the quantity has been quite nice. I had received the turned brass barrels from Burkhard Masch Kleinserien here in Germany. It's a very recommendable choice of brass barrels with a very reasonable pricing and good shipping rates, and there's certainly few who can really compare with Burkhard's work. Now that I have forgotten what I wanted to say, I'm rambling. All right. Well, let's have a look at the things I've done within these past days.
Before tackling the guns, I turned my attention to the range-finding equipment of the ship. The assembly is quite easy, but there's a few sink marks here and there that need cover-up, and a few parts of the Eduard photo etch set need to be attached. The range-find equipment for the 8.8mm flak is easily assembled as well, but there are a few gluing lines that are very difficult to remove once the parts are glued together. The Eduard parts shown here are quite delicate, especially the hatches are very small, and it is best to use a toothpick to position them into place. Another object seen on the deck of the ship is this quite strange piece of equipment. I have not been able to determine the use of this item, but I think it's part of the replenishment system of the ship. The parts are very nicely detailed already, and I just added a piece of styrene strip to add more depth to the item. Now it's on to the main artillery. The 280mm guns, or almost 11-inch guns, of the Deutschland class were quite exceptional and very characteristic for this class of ship. To do this important piece of equipment justice, I removed the molded gun barrels and replaced them with products from BMK. As well, the molded on ladders were removed, and the main direction finders were reshaped, as the parts given in the kit were not properly in dimension and shape. On the backside of the turrets there are 2 ventilation exits, but in the original kit's parts they are too big and in the wrong position, so I removed them and repositioned them using styrene stock. As well, there is a sink mark on the back side of the turret that needs filling. When properly assembled, there is a gap between the turret and the barbette cover, which needs filling with styrene. I used white glue to fill up all the seams around the range-finding equipment and along the gap at the base of the turret. The Deutschland class was carrying 8 150mm guns alongside the center citadel. The kit's parts usually comprise of a gun, a housing and a base, but if you give them the full treatment of White Ensign, BMK and Eduard photo etch parts, they do look a lot more detailed and interesting. The original heavy flak complement of the Deutschland class was 3 twin 88mm turrets. These were later upgunned to 105mm. The original kit's parts, as seen in the lower part of the picture, are a bit simplified, so I gave them a good treatment of BMK brass barrels, some hatches from the spares box and some styrene strips. Another characteristic feature of the Deutschland class pocket battleship were the two quadruple torpedo launchers at the stern of the ship. Both were equipped with a protective hood, as the stern of the ship was notoriously wet, and usually these torpedo tubes suffered damage from oncoming seas. The kit's parts were spiced up with a mix of Eduard and White Ensign hatches. There are no specific parts given in either the Eduard or the White Ensign set produced for this Academy kit.
As you can see, by quantity it wasn't really a lot to show for, but you'll probably understand that changing a 150mm gun from 3 parts of the original kit into 15 parts per original gun on the model is quite a bit of work, and it requires a lot of time, even though there's not a lot of quantity to show for in the end. But I certainly do hope that you enjoyed the progress so far, and I hope to see you back at the next time. Probably I will miss out on posting another link next weekend, because I will be at the modeling show here in Heiden, which is basically my home turf show, and of course I have to be there. I'll be there meeting with my club friends, and I certainly do hope to see some of you there. Have a nice Easter festival, and see you around next time. Bye bye.